Hey, my name's Elliot Hulse, and I'd like to share with you a unique strategy to help you pack on dense, ripped muscle by shifting your muscle fiber type into a biologically superior type 3 hybrid muscle. Now, this muscle utilizes 173% more fat for energy. But first, a question. Have you ever wondered why that lean, fat free, athletic muscle look only seems to grace the physique of your genetically gifted friend who eats pizza and ho hos every day, yet he still rocks a six pack like Spartacus? Have you ever tried following a 7 gazillion calorie diet while training at Gold's Gym for up to 2 hours a day, only to end up a bigger, yet softer version of your original self? Look, if you're anything like me, there's nothing that you hate more than trying to build muscle or bulk up, only to have to spend the next 6 months with your butt on the tiny seat of a stationary bike, pedaling like a hamster to burn off all that bulking fat. Besides, all you've got to show after months of hard work in the gym and shoveling piles of brown rice and chicken breast down your throat is what I call puffy muscle syndrome, or PMS. What a shame, right? You've been lifting weights, you go heavy, you do burnout sets, you even suck down your pink powdered protein shake as soon as you drop the barbell after your final rep of your workout. But you still don't have that diesel dense muscle that you've been training for. Look, I understand what it's like to be a chubby champ too. Take a look at this picture of me after winning a strongman contest. Yeah, I'm strong with some big muscles, but all that bloat makes me look like the Michelin Man after eating a box of grape jelly donuts. Of course, we do get a lot stronger in our efforts, but the problem with getting all soft and swollen is that it can be a bit embarrassing when it comes time to take your shirt off at a pool party or at the beach. Now, I'm not your typical pretty boy, so don't get me wrong. But I'd much rather have the confidence of knowing that when I take my shirt off around someone who doesn't know anything about bulking and cutting, that they can actually tell that I bust my butt in the gym. It's true. Building puffy muscle syndrome, or PMS, is a stupid waste of time. Getting puffy muscle syndrome in order to bulk up and slim down is not the way to go. Eating a ton of calories to force muscle growth not only makes you fat and puffy looking, but everyone knows that yo yo dieting is bad for your health and usually ends up stamping you with an ugly modern disease called insulin resistance. Hey, if you want to walk around with a double chin for 6 months only to starve yourself for the other half of the year and screw up your metabolism at the same time, be my guest. But if you want to build lean muscle and burn fat at the same time, then try this hybrid muscle building and weird reloading diet to battle PMS and finally get leaner, harder, and stronger. Just like I did after a recent tragedy that I'll tell you a little bit more about soon. You see, I'm what brainy types might call an endomorph. This basically means that I'm genetically destined to be, well, chubby. The gift of the endomorphic body type is that we have the ability to get stronger and build muscle a lot easier than the hard gain or ectomorph. But we have a heck of a time burning fat. Well, at least I did until I was forced to change the type of workouts I was doing. You see, about 7 months ago, I weighed 247 pounds. As a strength athlete that hung around a bunch of other soft but strong endomorphs, my big PM muscles were kinda cool. I could lift heavy things and felt at home with my puffy buddies. There was really no need for me to look elegant, so I just stayed that way, strong but soft. That was until I experienced one of the most devastating disasters of my life. After a hard training session of lifting heavy objects and getting all pumped up, I went to my parents' house for dinner. After dinner, my father asked me to help him pull up a few dead trees that were in his garden. Then it happened. I was tugging on a tree root with both of my overinflated arms. Then suddenly, my father and I heard two loud pops. Pop, pop! I had torn my left bicep tendon clean off the bone. So much for my PMS guns, huh? With my left arm in a cast and my dreams of being a top professional strongman gone, It was time to build some leaner, harder, more dense muscles. I quickly realized that my PMS muscles would no longer serve me. They were useless. No longer would I class myself with the meathead mass monsters that often claimed I'm bulking up to get stronger as an excuse for being fat. In fact, that's where my good friend Mike Westerdahl comes into play. Mike and I played college football together and both write for Popular Fitness magazine, so we go way back. You may know Mike as the founder of one of the biggest fitness publishing companies on the internet, criticalbench.com. But to me, he's just a training partner and fellow trainer. Besides, as an amateur powerlifter, Mike had gotten a little lazy and put on some unneeded pounds as well. We were both anxious to build a leaner physique that was strong but without the bloat. Together, we immediately went back to the drawing board to fine tune our already successful hybrid muscle training. The same system that guaranteed you would get leaner and stronger by building muscle and burning fat at the same time. Only this time I combined it with a hybrid diet solution that I learned from an ex Special Forces trainer who needed his men to be strong but also very, very lean in order to endure the rigors of military missions. I'll tell you more about this in a moment. You may have heard me talk about this before, but there's an almost magical fat burning and muscle building result that occurs when you combine multiple training variables and modalities. It's really nothing short of miraculous. The amazing physiological response by using this hybrid muscle training is that you actually build a new type of muscle fiber, a super muscle fiber that is so dense with mitochondria that as a result it burns 173% more fat than your average type 1 or type 2 muscle fibers. We call this process muscle shifting. Here's how muscle shifting works. Most people who exercise or lift weights understand that type 1 muscle fibers are used by your body to endure long stints of exercise. Things like running a marathon fit into this category. As you know, type 2 muscle fibers are best suited for sprinting, jumping, and lifting heavy things. But what you may not have heard is that when you combine type 2 muscle training with type 1 muscle training, your body responds by transforming your muscles into a type 3 hybrid muscle fiber. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about this later. This transmutation of your muscles into type 3 muscle fibers is what muscle shifting is all about. Muscle shifting is achieved with hybrid muscle training. So like I said earlier, we've got to combine two types of training to gain more of this lean type 3 muscle fiber. The amazing thing about this type 3 muscle fiber is that it has a capacity to grow larger and leaner while simultaneously burning fat. We began using a hybrid muscle training system that forced our muscles to get leaner and harder by combining heavy weight training, resistance cardio, circuits, and intense intervals. The results were incredible, but it gets even better. Now, I don't know about you, but I can be pretty impatient. So I consulted with an old friend that once worked as a PT instructor in the Special Forces about what kind of diet I should follow. And he gave me a diet plan that I could use to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. My friend explained to me that he had designed a diet that would allow his soldiers, who may go days without any food, to maintain lean muscle mass while enduring the rigorous training and military missions. The goal of this diet is to force your body to use pure fat for energy while preserving or even building lean muscle mass. What he explained to me was that by partitioning our nutrients into different days of the week, we could ensure that only the muscles would be fed while the fat would be starved. Also, by cycling days of overfeeding with days of underfeeding, we can force our bodies to become a more efficient fat burning machine. Much of this has to do with the hormone responses and very little to do with calorie counting, which is great since I hate counting calories. There are days when we deplete the muscles of vital nutrients, but then we rapidly reload the muscle at the exact moment that it's begging to grow. When I added this reloaded hybrid diet solution to my hybrid muscle training, I practically doubled my lean muscle building and fat burning results. Take a look at these pictures to see what I mean. The first one was taken in October when I first added the reloaded hybrid diet solution to my program. The second one was taken only 87 days later.